Our business is news, and business is good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Buckle up because here we go.
The Doctor of Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense, no prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show, Monday, January 13th. What's going on in Los Angeles and the wildfires continues to be a big story. And now we're seeing the politics of a lot of this that is front and center. Donald Trump had a post on True Social. He said, California leadership has no idea how to put these fires out, Trump said. Thousands of magnificent houses are gone. Many more will soon be lost. There is death all over the place. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the history of our country. They just can't put out the fires. What's wrong with them? Mr. Trump, I ask myself that question, I don't know, 25 times a day, every damn day of the year. What is wrong with some of these people? It's just absolutely incredible. And you'll understand why I'm saying that as I get into some comments that others are making. I just feel like I get somebody hit me right between the eyes. You don't even know how to respond to some of this stuff. It's so ridiculous on its face. So Trump said, Governor Gavin Newsom, and this was last week, refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California. Trump said later that day, no water in the fire hydrants, no money in FEMA. This is what Joe Biden is leaving me. I shared this with you on Friday. Thanks, Joe, Trump said. So Trump reacting on True Social. And so now Governor Newsom has invited Trump to visit and witness the destruction from the wildfires. And this is a message that he to Trump on Friday. And he urged against politicizing human tragedy, disseminating disinformation. Seriously, you just sit there and watch, and it's absolutely incredible. And this goes on. Now we're into another week of this, and these fires are, the Santa Ana winds are expected to continue this week through at least, I think, Wednesday of this week. So you're going to see those winds continue to fan those flames. It's just absolutely incredible. I think one of the things that we're seeing here is just an absolute unwillingness of on the part of those whose policies have led to this, blaming it on politicizing the situation and so on. So Trump last week had said one of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States is burning down to the ground. It's ashes. Gavin Newsom should resign. And I think Trump goes too far when he's responding to Newsom in a situation like this as Newsom. When you're making the point that he ought to resign, this is his fault, Trump said. Trump is Trump. So there is there are stories out. Most millennials got a story that Newsom reduce funding for wildfire prevention programs by more than $100 million in this year's California budget. That's according to a report by Newsweek. So this was signed into law this past summer. The budget eliminated $101 million from 7 wildfire and forest resilience programs. So this is how prepared was the state for something like this to happen. So you're cutting we saw the same thing in Los Angeles. The number of firefighters and so on the amount that the city of Los Angeles had budgeted for the fire department dramatically reduced. And same thing here on the state level now. You've got California reducing their wildfire prevention programs by more than $100 million, really setting the stage. I mean, you look at these things happen. You don't have to be a genius. Just common sense tells you you're setting the stage for all of these things to happen. The lack of clearing the underbrush in these forests and so on, the refusal to be able to do that, the insistence then on protecting, fish with their water efforts. So a lack of water, a lack of, appropriate forestation to prevent these fires, at least doing as much as you can to try to prevent remove the underbrush, prevent these fires from happening. One American News Network's got a piece this morning. Currently a recall effort underway for Gavin Newsom in the midst of these fires. So you've got Democratic Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey. Got to roll my eyes here. Markey has claimed that the Los Angeles fires are the result of a climate change disaster. Yes, this is the climate change disaster brought upon us by Republicans, by Donald Trump and Republicans. Does Ed Markey know that Joe Biden is in the White House? Is he aware that Gavin Newsom is a Democrat? I mean, he said, Trump has been bought for $1 billion by big oil just to pay off to kill the IRA and the Green New Deal. We know what will happen. More fires, more climate disasters, more death. Can somebody let Senator Markey know that Donald Trump is not currently in power? I mean, is he up and taking nourishment? I don't know. Because this I just about let a word slip out of my mouth. Because this stuff is absolutely just mind-blowing. So then he said on Friday that Trump is adding fuel to the fire by expressing support for more natural gas drilling. These people are nuts. They are absolutely off the wall crazy. What is this stuff? Republicans say that we can't afford a Green New Deal. He said in another post, what we really can't afford is to sacrifice our lives, homes, communities in fires fueled by the climate crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's the climate crisis that's caused all this. Gonna get worse. Gonna get much, much worse under Donald Trump. Oh, yeah, I bet. So you remember Nicole Shanahan, who was the running mate of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. running for president, he tapped Nicole Shanahan to be his running mate. So Shanahan is sounded off on those who are blaming the lack of water on climate change. And she said the state has not been in drought since 2022. She said, for all you climate change doomsayers, California has been out, capital letters, of a drought since 2022. We've seen record rainfall, yet the California Department of Water Resources, big city mayors, and the governor that failed to use that water to increase ground hydration and strengthen emergency fire services, she says. They looked the other way despite warnings from universities, fire departments, and there's more and more. I'm seeing those stories. More and more of those stories. People who are stepping forward saying, not only about, talking, bringing these concerns forward, also concerned about the budget cuts too. And now you're seeing that just exploding right in Democrats' faces. And so Shanahan said it's mind-boggling negligence. Yeah, every day is kind of mind-boggling, bizarro world stuff. The government of California has been taking orders from the wrong people for too long. It's time they wake up, grow a pair, and get to work for the people. Crazy. So there's also stories this morning about private firefighters and prison inmates who are trying to help fight the fires. And I think it's now, and I will have this story coming up for you shortly in trending news stories. I think it's about 25 people now who have lost their lives to the fires. I went and made sure I got the latest number this morning. So it's about, I think it's 25. So there are stories about private firefighters being hired by those who can afford it. Folks who are wealthy, and then they're getting all kinds of criticism. I don't know that I'm one of those that would, if you're there, if you have the means, and you're there and you're seeing, stuff threatening your home, just common sense, wouldn't you do everything you could if you had it in your means to be able to hire private firefighters? Wouldn't you do so? So there are those who are on social media. I just roll my eyes, because the carping on social media is old, man. It is old. You get people are complaining, and then, folks, you don't know. I have no idea who these people are, about, hey, wait a minute. Are you saying that if your home was being threatened, you wouldn't do everything that you could? If you had it in your means to hire private firefighters, wouldn't you do so? I would. That's just common sense, man. Absolutely crazy. So there was a man who had asked this he lives in the Pacific Palisades, and he said, does anyone have access to private firefighters to protect our home in Pacific Palisades? Need to act fast here. Are all neighbors' houses burning? Will pay any amount. He had to delete the post because people are just, what are the piranha? People have become like piranha on social media. It's like, what the hell is the matter? The guy's he's got the means. He's trying to protect his stuff. What would you do? If you had the ability, I think anybody would do what they could if you had those kinds of, maybe I'm way off base. I just look at the lunacy going on in this country. Also, J.D. Vance was on Fox News Sunday, and he touched on some issues that are getting a lot of attention this morning. He called what's going on in California. He said, we've got a lack of competent governance in California with all these wildfires. He said, I think that's part of the reason why these fires have gotten so bad. We need to do a better job at both the state and federal level. You disagree with that? I certainly don't agree with any of that. So this is, and again, the mayor of Los Angeles, and we talked about this last week. She cut over $17 million from the city's fire department budget. Governor Gavin Newsom also being criticized for his policies, inadequate water resources available to fight the fires. Vance also pushed back against claims that the administration is pursuing an immigration policy that's not compassionate, among the things he talked about. But a serious lack of competent governance, he said, in California. And he also said, I know Donald Trump would love to visit California. And first of all, our hearts go out to everybody who's been affected by the storms. I've seen some of these videos of people where, folks who've lived in homes for 25, 30, 35 years, everything is gone. And whatever your political affiliation, it's hard not to see those images and just be heartbroken for our fellow Americans who are going through a very tough time. It's exactly what I was saying to you last week. How do you not look at, James Woods and in tears, talking about the loss of, one day he's in the pool, the next day, poof, it's all up in smoke. Literally. I mean, how did J.D. Vance also talking about the January 6th rioters. And he says, if you protested peacefully on January 6th, and you've had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned, he said. So the left-wing media is trying, here's J.D. Vance at odds with Donald Trump. I mean, really? I don't know. Let's wait and see who Donald Trump pardons. I haven't heard anything from Trump that would lead me to believe that he's thinking any differently there than J.D. Vance, or that J.D. Vance is thinking differently from Donald Trump. The media just loves it. They're trying to, ever started a fire, you're having trouble getting it going, and so you're, trying to get those flames going. That's the media of this country. They're running out of breath too, I think. They try to fan all these flames. Now, also came up during the interview with J.D. Vance yesterday, they touched on Greenland. And Vance said, there's a deal to be made in Greenland, he said. This was a big story last week. And again, here's a story by Axios. There's a deal to be made in Greenland. They're wigging out about that. As we talk about California and the fires, Elon Musk is planning to use the Tesla Cybertrucks. Cybertrucks. No, there's no new Tesla Cybertrucks. The Cybertrucks, along with Starlink technology, to provide free internet to folks in California who, as you know, have just been devastated. And so Musk said in a post on X, apologies to those expecting Cybertruck deliveries in California. We need to use those trucks as mobile base stations to provide power to Starlink internet terminals in areas of LA without connectivity. A new truck will be delivered end of week, he said. So he is trying to provide Wi-Fi to folks in that area. Musk also said security personnel would be added to the Cybertrucks along with snacks and beverages for people. So taking some steps. And New York Post has got a story. LA millionaires shell out $2,000 an hour for private firefighters. as overwhelmed city abandons neighborhoods to the flames. This is from the New York Post. So, again, those on social media who got their, got their guts all in a knot over this, I don't. Common sense would dictate to me that if my belongings were being threatened, to do everything that I could. I mean, I understand why, folks, if you got the means, why wouldn't you be looking to hire private firefighters to protect your property? Maybe I'm out of step with you on that one. Also, very interesting story at the New York Post this morning. We'll talk about this later this morning. Mark Zuckerberg, who was on with Joe Rogan. There are a number of stories trending on this. I'll share those with you coming up here in a few minutes. But Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about, the issue of censorship. And Miranda Devine's got a piece at the New York Post saying we can't let Zuckerberg pass the buck. Also, the Supreme Court on Friday heard arguments that a federal ban on TikTok would violate the First Amendment rights of those who own the app. So oral arguments were heard on Friday, and the justices seemed inclined to agree with the federal government that their rationale was sufficient to force ByteDance to sell to an American company. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. Great to have you along. 627. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month, mostly clear, and 5, it feels like 11 below.
Nights 5 to 8. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is sponsored by Tires, the Give You More Tire and Automotive Store.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Andersen picture and combination windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
ABC Seamless. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, if your home and auto are both damaged in one storm, you only pay one deductible with our one deductible advantage. Learn more at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Whether it's on the job, on the field, on an errand, or at home, accidents can happen anywhere. If you suffer a break, sprain, or any other orthopedic injury, trust the experienced orthopedic team at Avera Orthopedics Urgent Care to keep you moving. Be seen immediately inside the Avera Specialty Hospital at 69th and Louise. No appointment necessary. Learn more about Avera's Orthopedic Urgent Care at avera.org/orthopedic urgent care.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down. Get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Weather brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Mostly sunny skies and cold weather today. Our high temperature at 16 with a west wind 10 to 15. For tonight, the coldest air of the season so far. Our low temperature at 5 below and a north wind at 5 to 15. Tomorrow's high rebounding to 6.
And in Sioux Falls at 6:30, it's mostly clear and 5. It feels like 11 below. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com newsroom. Headlines coming up in moments here at Kello.
At least 24 people are dead and more than a dozen others have been reported missing as wildfires wreak havoc across Los Angeles County. Red flag warnings are in place through Wednesday, which could spell bad news for firefighters.
Red flag warning winds. We could see gusts up to 70 miles an hour with low humidity in the teens or lower, a recipe for disaster. The Palisades fire, 13% contained after burning 23,000 acres. The Eden fire, 27% contained after burning 14,000.
Fox's Griff Jenkins, a potential breakthrough towards a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
Mediators have reportedly made significant progress overnight toward brokering a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas. Officials say a proposed deal is on the table, but hurdles remain as each side seeks final approval from their leaders.
Fox's Marianne Rafferty, America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. The community of Millbank is mourning the loss of a child who died in a house fire over the weekend. The victim was identified as 11-year-old Cade Renville, son of a Grant County deputy. The fire completely engulfed the house. Locals have set up fundraisers for the family. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. American Red Cross volunteers from South Dakota are headed to the West Coast as multiple fires rage on in Los Angeles County. The spokesperson for the Eastern South Dakota chapter says the Minnesota-Dakotas region is leading the nation in the number of disaster volunteers. Anyone looking to help are urged to contact the Red Cross or visit redcross.org for more info. Sioux Falls taxpayers are no longer on the hook for the cost of the largest intersection in the state. After years of trying to secure federal funding for the $26 million Arrowhead Veterans Parkway project, it's finally happening. The Sioux Falls Public Works Department says they've been approved for a $13 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation. The new grant will cover half of the project. Get your telescopes out. Wolf Moon is the first full moon of 2025, and it will be at its peak tonight. NASA says the Wolf Moon will pass in front of the planet Mars, visible from across most of the United States. The moon will start to cover the red planet at 7:13 p.m. and will take about 31 seconds to completely hide it. Mars will remain hidden for a little over an hour. And in college basketball over the weekend, the Coyotes men's team lost to St. Paul 104-119. The Coyotes women's team picked up a win, 71-66 against Omaha. And the Jackrabbits men's team lost to Omaha 80-87, but the Jackrabbits women's team beat Kansas City 78-61. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Weather brought to you by Intech Cleaning and Restoration. If you need it clean, call the Intech team. IntechClean.com.
Mostly sunny skies today in the Sioux Falls area, but plenty cold. High temperature at 16 degrees and a west wind at 10 to 15. For tonight, mainly clear and cold, low at 5 below zero. Tomorrow's high temperature rebounding to 16 once again, and mostly sunny skies. That's your weather update from the Storm Center at Kettleland TV. I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
If it matters to you, you'll hear it on Kello. All day, every day. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Los Angeles fires are bringing out what I like to call true colors. In times of hardship, open hearts give. In times of grief, true friends come to stand by us. And those with darker, greedy hearts show theirs too. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle. Cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Does your company qualify? Visit oracle.com/Kim today. From the Daily Mail, even as the fires continue, one-time American sweetheart, This Is Us actress Mandy Moore, opened a GoFundMe page for her adult in-law, a traveling musician. She's begging for money, $60,000, but she made $26 million over the show's 6-year run. Here's another. Khloe Kardashian donated $2,500 to the firefighters. She's worth $60 million at least. Thanks, Khloe. So I want you to remember, the Red Cross is the only way to help, and the only address is redcross.org. Do it now while you're thinking about it. Join over 600,000 people who get my free daily newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. Even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere, from self-driving cars to molecular medicine to business efficiency. If it's not in your industry yet, it's coming fast. But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power. So how do you compete without costs just spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. It's a blazing fast and secure platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, plus all of your AI and machine learning workloads. OCI costs 50% less for computing and 80% less for networking. Thousands of businesses have already upgraded. Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim. Oracle.com/Kim. Oracle.com/Kim.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is sponsored by Tires, with 2 locations to make sure you have the proper traction this winter.
We live in a world of uncertainty where it's become difficult to know who we can count on. But one thing we can all agree on is that we need a good night's sleep every day. For 30 years, Comfort King has been focused on building the world's best mattress and helping your friends, family, neighbors, and you sleep better. At Comfort King, we believe in American ingenuity and craftsmanship. We believe in making products that last a long time. When it's time for your next bed, rest assured that you can trust Comfort King.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Kitchens and windows, unlimited, just look what we can do.
It's that time of the season where we spend a lot of time watching cooking shows and challenges. It's where we get our inspiration to try new dishes, to wow our families, and creative recipes to share with our friends and relatives.
Hi, I'm Tim Wan from Kitchens and Windows Unlimited. And we would love to help design a kitchen for you that not only inspires beauty and style, but also is functional with numerous storage solutions. So whether you're looking for warm and cozy, sleek and contemporary, or anything in between, we have cabinetry to fill that need. Our holiday cabinetry line provides exceptional quality and craftsmanship. Tell us your kitchen issue. Show us your kitchen pictures. Share your ideas. Let's create a kitchen that fits your lifestyle. Stop by our showroom at 3rd and Kiwanis, or check us out on the web at KW Unlimited.
Hey, a quick word from my friends at the new 49th Street Liquor at 49th in Minnesota. If you've got an event coming up of any kind, 49th Street Liquor is the place. You just, when you arrive at 49th Street Liquor, you just steps away from the door and you're going to love everything you find inside. They've got a huge walk-in beer cave with a lot of assortments there, including some local beers. So check those out. They've got seltzers, and you can even buy those in singles if you like, if you want to find a new favorite and try a number of them. They've got a number of seltzers. Also, if you got any kind of outing coming up, you're getting together with friends, you're going to find everything you need at 49th Street Liquor, and the staff there is just terrific. They're really helpful. They're going to help you find whatever it is you're looking for. Don't know what you want? Well, they can come up with some great ideas for you as well. So just a lot to choose from, as well as a beautiful private video lottery space. You'll find it all at the new 49th Street Liquor at 49th in Minnesota.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Capitol Hill. There's change in the air.
Some new faces and some familiar faces in new positions.
Follow all the moves between now and Inauguration Day.
One thing won't change. You can always depend on us. Kello News Talk 1320
20 minutes before 7. Mostly clear at 5. It feels like 11 below this morning. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell. offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gap.
So Donald Trump reacting, a lot is being made of Trump reacting to Jack Smith. He is resigned from the Department of Justice. And let's forego the media reports, because the media, when it comes to Donald Trump, has an issue, I think, reporting. Let's just go to Donald Trump's True Social account, because that's where Donald Trump is making the comments. So Donald Trump actually had a number of them. And I will start with the oldest to the most recent, where Trump said deranged Jack Smith was fired today by the DOJ. He's a disgrace to himself, his family, and his country. After spending over $100 million on the witch hunt against Trump, he left town empty-handed. Later, he said the stench of deranged Jack Smith and his thugs is gone. They were sent packing after spending, over $100 million, destroying the lives of many people and families who will never be the same again. Deranged Jack accomplished nothing except to show what complete losers my political opponents are. And then finally, Trump said, this is the most recent. Why would deranged Jack Smith be allowed to issue a report on a complete and total witch hunt against me, strictly for political purposes, when he was thrown off the case, ultimately dismissed by the DOJ? Therefore, to put it nicely, he was illegitimately involved in this political persecution, and all of the hundreds of millions of dollars spent by our hapless government were, simply put, wasted. He's already filled thousands of rejected he's already, I think the word was supposed to be filed. He wrote filled, but he has already filed thousands of rejected statements and documents against me, which were a joke. And the public just voted for me in a landslide to be their president. So before now we get into, there's another story trending. Donald Trump on True Social as well, talking about the fires in Los Angeles. And Donald Trump said the incompetent politicians have no idea how to put them out. Thousands of magnificent houses are gone, and many more will soon be lost. There is death all over the place. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the history of our country. They just can't put out the fires. What's wrong with them, Trump said. So Gavin Newsom now inviting Donald Trump to California to view the fire damage. So he urged Trump, don't politicize. Don't politicize the fires, he's telling Trump. So this was on Friday. It's trending this morning. And he said, as you prepare to assume the presidency once more, I invite you to come to California again to meet with the Americans affected by these fires, see the devastation firsthand, and join me and others in thanking the heroic firefighters and first responders who are putting their lives on the line. So he shared the letter on X. He said, in the spirit of this great country, we must not politicize human tragedy. What's being politicized? So, in other words, you how dare you attack any of Gavin Newsom's policies that led up to these fires? I mean, it's the same old thing I think we're used to hearing. Speaking of the wildfires, 24 is the death toll. So that was the most recent. So firefighters still fighting to make more progress against these wildfires. Thousands of homes have been destroyed. 24 people now have been killed in the Los Angeles area. Forecasters, the news is not good coming from forecasters. They're saying that strong winds this week. There are at least 16 people who are missing. That number is expected to rise, and I think the number of the dead, unfortunately. Keep California, keep all of these folks in your prayers. It's just absolutely horrific damage that we see. Also, there are looters who are, they're preying on the wildfire and the crisis and what's going on. So, of course, they're out there looting. 29 people have been arrested, including one suspect who is really making headlines this morning. He dressed up as a firefighter in order to loot homes. So he was apprehended by police. They caught him. But he was wearing a firefighter's jacket and a helmet when they arrested him. So now you've got at least 29 people. I don't know. I would love to see harsh penalties against these people who are out looting during natural disasters like this. That just, there's something about that. That's a personal reaction from me. It just churns my guts. So again, the Los Angeles wildfire has claimed 24 lives now. I got a number of stories here. Some of this I've already mentioned. All right. So now authorities have made the move of using ocean water to try to help battle the flames. And experts say salt water is not the first choice of a fire department, but sometimes it's necessary. And so they're using salt water. They say that salt water can damage equipment, infrastructure, and wildlife. But unfortunately, sometimes firefighters need to use it anyway. And this is a former New York City Fire Department lieutenant. He's a fire safety expert. He said, when someone falls down, gets hurt, possibly broke their neck or something like that, you don't move them. But if there's a fire around them or there are chemicals around them and stuff, they're going to die. So you have to move them. You have no choice. And it's a pretty apt analogy he's making to salt water. So just like normally you wouldn't move somebody when they're injured, normally you wouldn't use salt water to combat the flames, but in this case, you really have no other choice. Also, the leader of Greenland has announced that he's ready to talk about the future of the country with Donald Trump. He's open to negotiations with the U.S., but he said his people have no interest in becoming Americans. This was at a press conference in Denmark on Friday. So he said he has not been in contact with Trump as of Friday, but Greenland is ready to talk and that he's open to discussions about what unites us. Also, Mark Zuckerberg was on the Joe Rogan Experience. And this was, he did not hold back on his opinions about Apple and what's going on. He believes that they're stifling innovation. So he said Apple has used the iPhone to put in place a lot of rules that I think feel arbitrary. I feel like they haven't really invented anything great in a while. It's like Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, and now they're just kind of sitting on it 20 years later. Zuckerberg said. He said a number of things during this, the Joe Rogan Experience. So, acknowledge Apple's past achievements. He also talked about the censorship from the Biden administration on the podcast. He said these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. He cited one example involving a meme featuring actor Leonardo DiCaprio. It implied that COVID-19 vaccine recipients might later qualify for a class action lawsuit. So there were requests from the Biden administration then to remove the meme, but Meta declined to do so. And he told them, we're not going to take down humor. Also noted instances where the administration requested the removal of posts discussing vaccine side effects, even when the information was accurate. And Zuckerberg said, we were like, no, we're not going to take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. How much of that do you buy? Now, I have not yet seen, I would like to. I'm going to have to go out and find that. I think that would be fascinating. Watching Mark Zuckerberg on the Joe Rogan Experience and what he's saying, because there's some pushback from his claims. Miranda Devine's got a piece this morning at the New York Post. So, yeah, I'm gonna, again, I want to watch that for myself. I just don't want to rely on what other people are saying. I want to watch that for myself because that seems. Also, the FBI is searching for a drone operator that damaged a firefighting water scooper plane in Los Angeles. So they released photos of the super scooper firefighting plane. You know, the ones they're dropping water, obviously, on the wildfires. So officials say the plane hit a privately owned drone. And the impact put a big they forced the plane to land for repairs, caused a 20 to 30-minute delay in its operations. And so the assistant director in charge of the FBI's LA field office said over the weekend that whoever flew the drone put people's lives in danger. He said, I'd like to stress that technique using that super scooper aircraft are our most effective technique to fight fires like this. And when this happens, it puts everybody's lives at risk. I get a feeling that's a story we'll be hearing more about. They may, you wonder if they'll wind up catching the person responsible. Also, Los Angeles police have confirmed that they arrested a man dressed as a firefighter after he was found burglarizing a home. So 29 people, these are the looters, 29 looters that have been arrested. Forgive me if I repeated that number of these stories. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with President Joe Biden yesterday, updating him on the process in negotiations then to reach a hostage release deal in Gaza. And so Netanyahu's office said, I really don't know if there, honestly, I don't know if there's anything beyond that to be able to share with you. No details in terms of what they talked about, but he did share details with the president about this. So they spoke. This is after Netanyahu's office announced that Israel was sending a delegation of senior officials to Qatar for the negotiations. Also, we got the NFL playoffs underway. And did you happen to catch any of that Ravens Steelers game? I did. On Saturday night, I was just get in with my blanket, get ready to go to bed, and started watching the game. And I got to tell you, I was sucked in. I got sucked in. There's some great football. Well, maybe not on the Steelers part, but so you've had the Ravens then crushing the Steelers, the Texans beating the Chargers, and so it'll be the Broncos facing the Bills, the Packers meeting the Eagles, the Commanders take on the Buccaneers. Also, the New England Patriots have hired Mike Vrabel to replace Jared Mayo as coach. You know Sam Moore, legendary Sam and Dave singer Sam Moore. He has died at the age of 89. Had some complications from surgery. But what an incredible career this guy had. So he, of course, Sam and Dave formed in 1961. They became iconic figures with songs like Soul Man, Hold On, I'm Coming, and I Thank You, winning Grammys, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and more. So Sam Moore has died at the age of 89. Also, this is a name may not be known to those certainly fans of General Hospital know her. Leslie Charlson has died at the age of 79. A daytime Emmy-nominated actress. She played Monica Quartermain on General Hospital for nearly 50 years. And her, the executive director of the show on their official Instagram said, "It's with a heavy heart that I announce the passing of my dear friend and colleague, Lisa Charlson." So she has died at the age of 79. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Currently mostly clear in 5. It feels like 11 below at Kello.
World comes at you pretty fast.
Thanks so much for letting me join you this morning. Please come back at 9:30 for the 4th hour. I hope to see you then. Take care. Have a great Monday.
Are leaders more focused on going woke?